Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before. Talk like you've never heard it before.
A minute. What was that? That wasn't supposed to happen. Hey everybody, it's the Ramble. I'm Alex Bennett. We're coming to you from New York City. See that below us? It's New York City, and we're going until midnight tonight. What the hell happened there? What? I played. That was. I have a new. See, we're as of the 4th, we will be 6 years doing GabNet. And I have a new GabNet thing, right, to run. But I don't have it there. What the hell happened? I don't have it there. Let me see here. No, that's Imager Goldie. That should have been playing. What happened? I have no idea. Anyway, wait a minute. Let me just see the beginning of this again here. Hold on.
5 years and still talking.
Yeah, that's fine.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And how come that other one went? That's really strange. Oh, I see. It's over here. See, this is the way it's going to sound pretty soon.
Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American... Now in our 6th year,
all right. You get the idea. Anyway, I don't know how that went. It's all technical wizardry to me. I have no idea how it works. Anyway, let me see here. Where am I? Okay, so listen, I have to apologize for this. Wait a minute, this eye here. Wait a minute. Is this the one that's hurting? Which one is hurting? Huh. They're both hurting. I have had, all of a sudden, my breathing thing that I had for a couple of weeks, gone. It's fine. But my eyes today have been burning and tearing all day long. And look at this, look how red they are. See? And then I'd wear the glasses, only I'm so bleary-eyed. Let me clear my eyes out here. I'm so bleary-eyed that I can't really see the screen that well. So I excuse the eyes, okay? I'm sorry. They're a little screwed up here. But you can see it's redder. I can see you looking at the screen there. And I tried putting some concealer on there. I went into the cabinet where my wife keeps all her makeup and started putting some stuff on there, but it didn't seem to make it any better. Maybe when I have something I'm going to play here in a moment, maybe I'll run in there and put on some more of that concealer and see if it helps. But anyway, oh man, so I don't know what my nose is sniffling, and there's something. Pollen is not the problem because pollen count is down. There is something in this apartment that is causing this, and I think over the weekend I'm going to try and get out of here as much as possible. Although I'm afraid to, because our COVID rate in New York State has gone up. Okay, it hasn't gone up tremendously. We were in the 800s, like 850, and now we're like at 910 cases yesterday, which means it's on the rise, but small. Certainly well within what are some of our better numbers. Okay, but what worries our governor is this could be the start of a trend. And he's worried that New Yorkers have gotten a little complacent about all of this. You know, it was easy for us to keep people indoors and socially distancing when the weather was bad. People just stayed inside and watched the rain outside, watched cold weather, said, okay, I can do this. But the minute that sun started to shine, I knew we were in for trouble. And what we've got, it's the kids, okay, among others, that just feel they can't, well, if I get it, it's just not going to kill me. Yeah, but it's going to kill me if you spread it to me. And you know, I don't find that a really fun possibility. So even though I would like to go outside, where I think maybe this eye thing will get better and I will breathe better and all of that, because there's something in this apartment. I mean, I've been in here for 5 months now, practically. That is just horrible, and I can't get rid of it. And I've got now Marjorie doesn't, her eyes don't hurt as much, but she goes out for a walk every day with her girlfriend. But I'm never invited, so I just don't leave. Okay, but tomorrow I'm getting out. I'm just getting out of here, even though I'm afraid to because of what the governor says, that things aren't as good as they should be. All right. So anyway, excuse me if I'm blowing my nose. The nose is dripping and the eyes are tearing, and this one looks redder. This is the red one? Is this the red one? No, this is the red one. Huh, it doesn't look as red as, this is the one that hurts. Okay, well, anyway, I don't want to labor you with that. Once we get the citizen panel going, we'll be okay. By the way, if you call us on Zoom, you can go over to gabnet.net, and there's a place you can just click on right there. It'll take you right to the show. You don't even have to have Zoom installed. Zoom does the whole thing for you online. All right? If you want Zoom, you can go to zoom.com and download the program. I'm sure they would appreciate that. Anyway, that's part of, you know, what you can do. Then you can also go over to my Facebook page, facebook.com/A Bennett, and at that you will be able to, there's another place where you can click to get on it. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, guess what? That's correct, folks. On YouTube, we are we right at the very bottom of the where the picture is and everything. There's a link there that you can use Zoom as well. There are a few problems with Zoom, however, and I don't get this. There is something terrible happening on YouTube, by the way. I had 1,080 people subscribing to me just 2 days ago. And now it's down, it was down yesterday to 1,029, and then today it's at 1,016. Now, it seems to me that something is happening. I mean, I wrote them and told them what's happening, that something is happening over at YouTube. And of course, if I go below 1,000, I lose my monetization, which I haven't made any money off of it anyway. But it pisses me off that all these people have subscribed to me. And in fact, I'll show you here. Look at this. You can see it. Here. See right up there? See, 1,016. So would all of you who are out there watching me right now, if you can, I would appreciate it, if you would go over there and you would subscribe to me. Go to my channel on YouTube, and let's see here. Where do we get the channel here? Here's the channel. Wait a minute. The channel should come up. There's the channel. And by the way, this is interesting. Okay, you go to the channel and just subscribe to me on that page. You go to, you just go to Alex Bennett. It'll take you to this page. But look at that. What did it say I had as subscribers? Okay, 1,016. All right. Look at this here. 1,001.08 subscribers. That's 1,080 subscribers. All right? That's the number that should be, and that's the number that comes up if you go right to Alex Bennett. It's been that way for the last couple of days. So I don't know what the problem is with YouTube, but you know, ever since the coronavirus, nothing works very well. Okay? So anyway, because people work from home and they're screwing up like crazy, and but anyway, just go to Alex Bennett. And then subscribe to me right now. because I want to see what comes up, okay? Let me see here. Let me get rid of that. Let me get back to here. Let me see. Did anybody try to sign on while I've been talking? No, nobody's tried to sign on while I've been talking. Okay, well, anyway, that's what that is. Okay, there we go. Okay. So listen, and also if you call right now, you will be put in the waiting room for the show, because I'm using a waiting room a lot lately because we got Zoom bombed last night again. So I want to keep the Zoom bombers away. All right. So anyway, where are we? Let me see here. Let me go back and look at here. There we go. All right. I just want to show you. I found this. I ran into this the other day, and I just wanted to play it because I found it absolutely fascinating and interesting. The Situation Room, not Wolf Blizzard's Situation Room, but the one in the White House. Have you ever wondered what the Situation Room is like? I mean, I imagine this inner sanctum in this room where everybody's sitting around speaking in hushed tones and everything. Well, I went online, and on YouTube, the White House under Obama did this presentation taking people into the Situation Room. And I thought I'd play that for you because it is absolutely fascinating. It's only 5 minutes long, but I think you will find it edifying. Okay? Watch this.
Good evening, Mr. Prime Minister. It'll be one moment for President Obama. Introducing the Prime Minister.
We're here in the West Wing of the White House, inside the White House Situation Room. We host about 25 conferences a day here in the Situation Room, and some 250 guests attending the different meetings throughout the day. In a month, that's over 5,000 visitors and attendees to the different meetings that we have here. It's a state-of-the-art facility, the ability to conduct video teleconferences with 17 or 1,800 entities throughout the world.
This is an interagency meeting on H1N1 pandemic, and so it has interagency representatives from the executive branch, departments and agencies. They have the technology here and the capability to bring in other departments and agencies electronically as opposed to having folks face-to-face.
The White House Situation Room was created in May of 1961 by the then National Security Advisor, McGeorge Bundy. They had a voracious appetite for information, particularly President Kennedy. And in response to that need, they felt the desire to create a communications center here within the White House. In 2007, the White House Situation Room underwent a major renovation, which greatly expanded the square footage and the capabilities of the White House Situation Room. We went from one principal conference room to 3 principal conference rooms. This is the large conference room where the President holds the National Security Council meetings. This is the President's chair. He controls the video options, including the microphones. And the traditional lineup of seats is based on the seniority of the different cabinet members attending the meeting. Tied to the executive conference room is a small breakout room designed to enable the President to take 1 or 2 people into a conference room to have a small one-on-one session with them. And all of the feel that you see here, the types of wood, are designed to replicate the other entities at which the President would participate. Places like Air Force One and Camp David, so that wherever the President is, the feel is the same, having the same texture and sound around him. One of the cool features of this particular room in the White House Situation Room is the opportunity to provide privacy for the President if he's making a head of state phone call from the Situation Room itself. And what we'll do is we'll be able to fog the windows to give him that level of privacy. So throughout the White House Situation Room, you have a number of phone tubes, or we call them Superman tubes, with the capability to have unclassified telephones as well as top secret telephone capability. This is the watch floor of the White House Situation Room, and the watch floor's commodity is situational awareness. We're a fusion center, meaning that we fuse approximately 2,000 pieces of information every day. We produce 3 daily reports directly for the president, and it's basically a situational awareness update, perhaps since the last time the president had an opportunity to assimilate any additional information. The room that you see behind me is called the surge room, and that's where we literally surge personnel in a crisis. We keep the phones and the computers always on so that we can provide instant access and start fusing information to provide a summary for the decision makers in the White House so that they can make the decisions in response to that situation or crisis, and hence the clever name, Situation Room. 1/3 of the personnel come from the intelligence community, 1/3 come from the Department of Homeland Security, and the remainder come from the U.S. military. We are sent here because we're apolitical. We're not Democrats, we're not Republicans. We're here to support our nation and the President of the United States and the institution of the presidency. And all of the people who work in the White House Situation Room are simply the best and the brightest that this nation can offer, and they do the very best job that they can do.
Isn't that fascinating? Huh? Isn't that fascinating? Wow, that's amazing. I enjoyed that, and if you want to, it's on YouTube. It's got, let's see here, I don't know how many millions of views over the years. No doubt they didn't take them away, but I don't understand where my people went. I have no idea. And while we've been talking, has anybody? Oh, I got two people signed in. Okay, I need more. I need all of you to go to go to youtube.com and then put in Alex Bennett, or put in Alex Bennett, and it'll take you to my page, okay, my channel, and then you go there and subscribe, okay, subscribe. I won't send you anything. No solicitors will call. I just want to see this number if it goes up, because people have started going in there and adding to the number. But anyway, it just pisses me off. Just really just pisses me off altogether. Anyway, let me admit a couple of people here who are waiting now to be on Zoom. And let me see here. Let me go there, and I even have a button now here, so I can. There we go. There they are. There's Howard, and there's Phil. Hello, Howard. Hello, Phil.
Hey,
Hey, Phil.
Yeah, you got Corona hair.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little windblown.
Well,
I probably need a haircut.
Yeah, probably. But you can still go to a barber there, can't you?
I go to a beauty parlor, and the woman has opened up again, but it's like cumbersome. I gotta prove I haven't been sick. I gotta let her test my temperature, all this stuff. I was thinking of calling her and see if she'd just come to my house.
Yeah. So how'd you guys enjoy being left in the waiting room?
Hey, I get left in a lot of places.
Yeah. Is there any kind of artwork there?
Where?
In the waiting room?
No, it just says
No.
you're waiting for Alex.
Oh, really? Because I put a thing in on my my tools for Zoom where it says that while they're waiting there, it could have a Gabnet logo or something. But I guess it didn't do it.
I didn't notice that.
Anyway, did you hear what I said happened with YouTube? I'm so pissed off about this. I worked so hard, number one, to get to 1,000 so I could be monetized. And then over the last couple of months, maybe half a year, people have just dribs and drabs joined and subscribed because they like the show, and they've gotten unsubscribed because as of the other day, I had 1,080 people, and now it's down to 1,018 in like a matter of 2 days. So there's something wrong over at YouTube,
Have you ever heard of Fiverr?
Huh?
Have you ever heard of Fiverr? Fiverr.
What's Fiverr?
Yeah, it's a matter of fact, Rob used them.
I did. I used them to build the logo for my radio station.
Yeah, but
I
what?
bet if you went on Fiverr, you can get some people to subscribe for $5, like 100 subscribers.
Well,
That's $500.
you know, I
No,
got all
five
those.
for
I
$5.
got all those people legitimately. Okay. You know, I got them legitimately, no phone. And all of a sudden, boom, it's down to this. And then when you go, if you go to my page, Alex Bennett, the channel, YouTube.com, and then search for Alex Bennett, you will see it says I have 1,080 subscribers. So I don't understand it. Makes no sense to me, you know. And so everybody go over there. If you have subscribed in the past, make sure you're subscribed. And if you haven't gone there in the past, now I have 1,019. So 3 people while I've been talking have joined. Okay.
Charlie's waiting. Charlie's waiting.
Huh? Oh, let me see here. Well, a lot of people are. Oh, Charlie is waiting. Okay, here we go. Let me admit him. I'm just trying to tonight keep the Zoom bombers from attacking me again. Yes.
Somebody else you know is on the chat, the live chat, the YouTube chat.
Yeah. What's this?
Yeah. Okay.
Who's on the YouTube chat? Well, who?
Marjorie Miller.
Oh, she says for sure, but getting my allergies is another. Getting to my allergist is another story. What? Oh, I see. Mold and dust are definitely some of the causes. I don't know, man, but today my eyes are just trashed. But my breathing's fine. My breathing is recovered completely. So I'm left with these. Do they look red? I guess not.
A little bit.
A little bit.
What about your lightheadedness?
Oh, that I don't have that today. I don't have that today. I just have the eyes.
That's good.
You know.
You look like you've been crying. You look a little like you've been crying, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you tearing? Is the tear ducts backing up still?
No, no, I don't have tear ducts backing up.
Well, I thought you had an issue where you were going to have them.
No. What I have are these. My eyes are drooping here, so they cause a little well in here, and then bacteria can go in there and get caught in there, and my eyes get infected, and I need to have my eyes done. It's a medical procedure, so what do you call it? My medical insurance takes care of it.
So they're not doing it because of COVID and no procedures.
No, I'm not doing it right now because of to get to my eye doctor to do it. Oh, gee, you just lost part of the beach there.
The win.
To do it, I have to go to a doctor, and before I go to the doctor, I have to go to Mount Sinai and get like an eye test or something, so that he can then do this procedure.
Just renew your driver's license. They'll give you an eye test.
I have a new driver's license.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Well,
the point is
it's
it's some kind of test for pressure on the eye. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I got to do it before he does this. So I can't get to him, and I don't want to go to Mount Sinai, that petri dish up the hill. And I don't know if I want to risk it yet. So I'm stuck. But this is something else. This is not that. Okay.
It's not causing the redness.
No. Here comes Jeff Stein. Let me admit him.
Did you see Rob's background? That was his Fiverr background.
It's backwards though.
Oh, you can hit mirror on the. There's a thing in there. Not mirror.
And I don't know if.
Oops. Yeah, turn it down, Jeff. Let's see your background again.
It's the logo. Rob it looks backwards to you, but not to everyone else.
Play it, put it in up, and let's see it again. No, it's just fine.
That's right.
It's fine. Yeah.
It's not backwards?
No.
No,
Not backwards.
it is, because this happened to me one time. I was doing a 50-person Zoom, and to me, the background looked backwards, but to everybody else, it looked perfect.
Yeah.
When you blew out your smoke, you disappeared, and then you reappeared. That was pretty
Really?
cool. Yeah, do that again.
Let's see here.
In a cloud of smoke.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, but
amazing.
you can't really see it, so I'll turn it off.
We used to smoke the Hemingways, the short stories, when we used to go to the club, because you could puff that one down before you gotta go back into the club.
Yeah. So anyway, hey Marjorie, if you're still awake and you're not asleep and you're chatting, you can always join the Zoom. You know,
Zoom call.
she hasn't been on this show forever. You know, so
Yeah, it's been a long time.
and she has no excuse because she's been home all the time. Okay, she could do it. You know, but-
Alex, did Marjorie subscribe? You know, that's one more you can get.
Well, yeah, Marjorie, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Will you? Everybody go over there. Let's see how we're doing now. 1,019 still. Now, see? Now, how many people have we got watching us? Well, see, they probably all subscribe. All right? So they probably already subscribed. Yeah, we got 35 people watching at one time here.
You know why you lost people? It was the Zoom bombers. You didn't let them on, and they pulled off.
Now, who do you think Hubble Plank Jr. is going to be? I bet it's
John.
John Larkin.
I bet it's John Larkin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be John Larkin. John, you've got to somehow use the same name over and over again because I'm trying to keep Zoom bombers off. But
Use Maria Gonzalez next time. You're not going to get on.
Don't put Maria Gonzalez there because
What?
There isn't a I would call it in Spanish maybe or Latino name that's ever going to get on Gabnet again.
Well, but that would be terrible, wouldn't it?
It would, but that seems to be the MO for the bombers.
Yeah.
You know.
And you're wearing the wrong hat again.
Yeah. Tony Gonzalez.
He's wearing the right hat. That's the right hat.
What? This
I
one?
wanted to find. I played baseball at Yankee Stadium once, and I've got pictures of me in the outfield looking back at the stadium, and I'm trying to find one of those pictures. I'd love to put it behind me and be at Yankee Stadium.
Somewhere.
Old Yankee Stadium?
Yeah.
The one that shut down.
Yeah.
Somewhere, I don't think it's here.
2007 when I moved, I played there that summer, and then I moved later in the summer, and they shut it down the following year.
I don't think it's here, but I have a Giants jacket. It's given to me by the Giants, or as I like to call them, the Gigantes.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's so, and my eyes are terrible, and people are Zoom bombing me. But we're Zoom bomb free. But I have to look down here every now and then on participants to make sure that somebody I know isn't trying to get in. So if you go there, you might have to wait a little bit. What are you holding up there, Brian?
I don't know if you can see that.
I can't hear. We can't hear you for some reason.
You're not hearing.
Why
we're not
can't we
hearing
hear you?
Really?
Yeah, now we can
do.
hear you, but when you held the picture up, we couldn't hear.
Up the mic.
Oh, maybe. So the picture on this side,
Yeah.
that's in the 70s. That's my grandfather taking me to the Giants games.
Yeah.
And then before he passed away, I was taking him to the Giants games. So this is him and I.
Oh, that's very nice.
That's very cool.
Yeah, he played some semi-pro ball.
Yeah.
He was pretty good baseball and a golfer. Really good.
Well, I used to know Wally Haas, who owned the team, and owned Levi's too, and he said, "Oh, you got to come out to a game. You got to come out to a game. Come on out to a game. You know, I'll comp you the seats. You know." And so I say to my girlfriend, "Hey, you know, Wally Haas invite us out to a Giants game," and so we go there. And I walk in, I show them my tickets, and the guy says, "Follow me." And I start climbing steps up to the very, very top of the stadium. My back is against the top wall.
Wow.
My girlfriend looks at me and goes, "Friend of Wally Haas's, huh?" So anyway, comes Monday, or maybe it was the next day, I go on the air. Excuse me, folks, if I'm doing my Louis Armstrong here. And I go on the air and I tell the story I just told. And I said, "What's that?" You know, I mean, I don't mind not being given the best seats in the house, but I do mind being given the worst seats in the house and sitting next to some guys flying the night mail to St. Louis. You know, I mean, that's how far back we were. Next thing I know, I get a call from Wally. Come see us again. This time I'll make it worth your while. So the next time I called him, and he said, okay, we got seats for you. Come on over. I bring my girlfriend with me. They're right over the dugout. Right?
There you go.
They're his seats. Okay. And so she was really happy. But she got really sad fast because she brought a baseball mitt. I don't know. I go out with these sporty women. I don't know why. She brought a baseball mitt just in case she could catch a ball, right? And balls are going everywhere, but they're not coming in back of the dugout, which they probably wouldn't anyway, right? So all the way home she went, I didn't get a ball, I didn't get a ball. So the next time I talked to Wally, I said, can you send us a ball? You know, just so she has one. And he sent me a ball, and I gave it to her. And I think he had a couple of people sign it and stuff. Yeah. So that's my baseball story.
When the ball went over the fence, did you yell touchdown? Did you know it was a home run?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know where the 40-yard line was. I couldn't figure that out.
I remember Live on the 5, whenever the Super Bowl came around, you said you were going to the mall. You said, Super Bowl's here. I'm going to the mall because all the women are going there.
Well, yeah, well, they asked me they interviewed me for the Today Show, and they said, well, here, you're the one person. This was when it was at Stanford, the Super Bowl. And said, yeah, I understand you're the guy who's not going to the Super Bowl. What are you going to be doing? I said, out hitting on all the guys' wives who aren't going to the Super Bowl. The other story I tell is that, oh, wait a minute, here comes Jason. Hold on a second. I always have to make sure I keep looking over here. That's the only problem. Maybe I could just open up the waiting room, and then if we start getting Zoom bombers, I can just get rid of them pretty fast. But I think I told you the time that they asked me to throw out the first pitch at an A's game. And I got to tell you something. You know, right? Rob, what are you going? We going what?
It's just really weird because I get a picture that's right side up, and when I try it, it doesn't look right side up. I wonder why that is.
I have no idea. It's the great gods of whatever. Anyway, but they wanted me to throw out the first pitch, and so and they put me on the pitcher's mound, and you have no idea how far home plate is from that pitcher's plate. Am I right, Charlie? Because you're the baseball guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch it on television because it's all kind of parallax, right? Yeah. You just assume it's closer than it really is.
60 feet, 6 inches.
That is
They want to move it now. They want to move it back.
For a guy who doesn't even pitch, that's, you're going to throw your arm out just trying to get a ball that far. So I take the ball and I lob it, and I hit the umpire right in his crotch. But at least I got it to first. I got it to home. Okay, so I figured that's it. That's my baseball career. Goodbye. See you later.
So did you get 2 balls in one pitch?
Three balls.
3 balls in one pitch.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people here have gone to see the Giants.
Yeah.
In San Francisco.
Yeah.
I think I can remember being a kid and going to see the Giants.
Oh, of course.
In New York.
Because they were a New York team.
Yeah.
Do you know why the Giants went out to California?
58 is when they.
But do you know why they went out to California?
Yeah, the Dodgers.
The Dodgers paid for them to go out to California.
Right.
Because they didn't want to. They didn't want to be the only team on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So they
Makes
left
sense.
New York at the same time the Dodgers did. They went to San Francisco, and the Dodgers went to L.A.
1958.
Up until that point, there was no baseball east of the Mississippi.
Yeah, they had the semi-pro leagues, so they had the Oakland Oaks,
San Francisco Seals.
Yep. Yeah, my grandfather played for the Oaks.
Well, as a kid growing up, I had no big thing about baseball. I always told Shecky that I was envious of him because he's a Queens, New York kid, and he grew up in New York, and he had rooting rights for one of the major teams, whether it was the Dodgers, if you wanted to be with the bums, or the Yankees.
Or the Giants.
Or the Giants at that point.
The Dodgers.
And I said, when you grew up with that as part of your culture. I said, when I grew up, we had the Seals. What were the Seals? You know, that's where Joe DiMaggio
David Wells played for them,
huh?
And DiMaggio. David Wells and DiMaggio both.
DiMaggio played for the Dodgers. That's where they got him. The Seals, which I don't know. Was it a farm team for the Yankees?
No,
I don't think so.
It was just an independent. It was called the Pacific Coast League.
Pacific Coast League, yeah. And then once they came, goodbye. You know, they used to play at Kezar Stadium, and after that, you know, Kezar Stadium became a flea market. You know, because nobody had any need for it. They come to San Francisco, we'll build you a stadium, and they built Candlestick Park. You know.
No, but the Seals had a stadium. It was on Potrero and 16th, or there's a Safeway there now.
Well, no, but the Kezar. You know where Kezar Stadium is? Is it still there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Kezar
was where the Seals played.
No, the Seals played at Seal Stadium.
Really?
And then the Giants played their first year in Seal Stadium too, which was right at 16th and Potrero.
Okay. Now
by the Hams Brewery.
Hold on a second. I'm going to. Oh no, he hung up. Okay. All right. Somebody was trying to get in named Jucan, and then disappeared.
What was near the old Whitefront store that was down there? It became a hardware store at one time, and then a car dealership.
What?
Was that a stadium?
No, I think that was what was there after they tore down Seal Stadium. It was a White House, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was a car dealership. Now it's a Safeway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, so when you grew up in San Francisco, baseball wasn't really a factor. You know, I mean, some kids did pay attention to the Yankees and teams like that. You know, they had a team on the East Coast, but we were pretty well left out of baseball. So when the Yankees went to, when the Giants went to San Francisco and the Dodgers went to L.A., all of a sudden there was now all the teams were coming to the West Coast to play, and then you opened up. Arizona got a team, and you know there were teams all over the place that were on this side of the Mississippi. So that's my history of that, and I'm sticking to it. How you doing, Jason?
Doing pretty good.
Looks like you've been out in the sun.
Yeah, being Mexican, working out in the sun, gives you a little tan.
Yeah, yeah. How did you get over the fence and get here?
I think they got a tunnel now.
They got a tunnel now? Yeah.
Tunnel, ladder, airplane.
Yeah.
That's not a little tan. That'll get your neck stepped on for 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Too soon, Phil.
Too soon, Phil. Speaking of which, our president is trying to infect South Dakota tonight.
Right.
Yeah, he's speaking at an outdoor event, 7,500 people attending. Although the Indians have blocked the road.
They aren't Indians.
Yeah.
What are they?
They're engines. They're engines, Phil.
Oh,
they're engines.
Okay, I just want to know if they're upset that we're occupying that part of North Dakota. What is it?
South Dakota.
South Dakota.
What do they call the monument there with the
Mount Rushmore?
Mount Rushmore, that's it. And so, Alex, you're an occupier. You're occupying Manhattan on Manhattan Island.
We bought it. We bought it fair and square. $16. Or was it
24 bucks?
24 bucks.
You're all occupiers.
Yeah, you're an occupier.
Yeah, but that land was granted back to them in the 1800s, and then when they discovered gold on it 10 years later, they stole it back from them. But then they went to court in the 80s or the late 70s, and they got a Supreme Court decision where they gave them $100 million for that land, and the Indians said, no, there's the Lakotas. They said, no, we don't want the money, we want the land, and they've never touched that money. Now it's worth over $1 billion.
Yeah. Haven't you ever heard of Indian givers?
Phil,
Yeah,
how
that
racist are you going to get tonight?
Speaking of such things, have you heard that there's the renewed call for the Washington Redskins to change their name?
Well, it's about fucking time.
And now,
okay?
and now FedEx, and because FedEx is the big sponsor for their field,
yeah,
they're putting a lot of pressure on it. And now the Cleveland Indians are getting pressure put on them to change the name of the Indians.
You know, the
why
Cleveland
would you?
Indians should not change their name. They should just change their mascot to an actual Indian from India.
Well, actually, I don't think if I were Native American, Phil, if I were a Native American, that I would be that bothered by the Cleveland Indians, because
I think it's more the mascot with that Indian. They took it off the cap years ago. They used to have it on the cap, then they put the C there now. But I think it's more that.
What
What about the Braves?
Atlanta.
And the Braves too with the chop.
Braves the chop.
What about Notre Dame with the Fighting Irish?
Ohio has problems. You got Cleveland, where they not happy with him because he was he had something to do with oppression, and now you've got Columbus, Ohio, which they don't want. Wait till they find out that the name of Ohio is racist.
Ohio is a native name.
My question
and racist.
Well, my question is, I saw they've been showing Mount Rushmore today, because obviously that's where the president is spreading contagion tonight, and I looked at those four guys up there, and I'm going, well, they got some problems with Washington lately, and they probably got some problems with Jefferson, right? Is that Jefferson? Is Jefferson the other one up there?
Yeah,
Jefferson. And Teddy Roosevelt, I think they're having some problems with him. And we're not too sure about Lincoln. I mean, what are we going to do? Take a chisel to that mountain and,
There's room for Trump's bust up there. Did you notice? All the way to the right?
He would love
That's
that.
what he thinks.
He would love that.
He should have
Never heard a million years.
He should have it. What the fuck? Phil,
Phil.
let's end this debate now. What the hell has that guy even done for this country? Let's see here. Washington.
Put America
Washington was one of the creators of the country, as was Jefferson. Lincoln freed the slaves and did a lot of other things. Teddy Roosevelt had his things that he gave, like the national parks is a good example of something that Teddy Roosevelt gave to America. What the fuck has Trump given to America? Come on.
COVID-19.
COVID-19. That's what he gave America.
He did make us number one again.
Not only did he make us number one, he's protecting us and making us number one against people that for the last 60, 80 years, we've been giving money and they've been spitting on us.
No, but we're number one in infection, and I think he's managed to do that.
That was a lot of the African nations, they had their hands out. We need money. These people were despots, and we paid them and paid them and paid them, and they said they hate us and they burn us in effigy.
So now he gives the money to his friends.
I'm happy with that. Oh.
Hey Phil, do you drink coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking back of you, Jason. Looking back of you.
Hey.
Oh, look at that.
Who asked me if I drank coffee, Jason?
Yeah. Oh, yes, Howard's got his hand up. Howard?
Yeah, it was me. I was just wondering, because a lot of it comes from Africa.
Not the stuff I drink.
Oh,
I like the Italian and the French roast.
But it was genius, though. Did you see what the protesters were doing? The protesters took these vans and they blocked off the road, and they took the wheel off. They took the wheel off, and they kept the jack there, and they took the rod from the jack. So they had to get tow trucks, the flatbeds, and they had to skid it on the brakes, on the calipers up the thing. So they're there for a while. It's pretty funny.
Yes, yes, John.
Yeah, I looked at that crowd. There's maybe 1,000, maybe 1,500 people at that thing. There's no 7,500 people. I
So-
looked at. I mean, they're showing the crowd on
So
TV.
basically, he's getting a bad showing again.
Yeah.
Well,
I
you
thought
know,
it looked pretty full.
they're blocking the part of the people that are attending. You know, the Indians are blocking them.
They aren't Indians, folks.
Indian.
Phil,
Indian.
please. Can
Native
I?
Americans.
Native Americans.
Oh, come on. You trying to erase history?
No, I'm trying to make you at least respect it.
I'm trying to make people understand
won't
that when
happen.
Columbus landed, he didn't really land in India. He landed in America.
Actually, he didn't even land in the United States. He landed,
in the Caribbean.
In the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that's
close enough.
North America.
First time he landed in the Caribbean, he thought he had discovered the New World. He went back and suddenly realized maybe there was more there. And he came back, and I think he hit the main shores of the United States. What is now the
No,
United States.
he never landed in North America.
He never did?
I don't think he ever stepped foot.
I
in
think he
North
did.
America.
I think on his second voyage or third, there were set.
You know where, what part of the U.S. Or of the Americas that he would have?
Puerto Rico.
Queens. I think he went to Queens.
Went to
Yeah.
Queens.
Went to Queens.
Stopped off at the ice house there in Corona.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
wanted to get some the Corona, the Ice King of Corona. Yeah,
That's the movie Coming to America, right? Going to Queens. Get his queen.
yeah. So anyway,
got
excuse
my
me, everybody. I'm
2010.
washing my eyes because they've been tearing all night, and if I have a wet cloth and I do this, it doesn't make them get
Have you
irritated.
got an air filter yet?
No,
He's too cheap.
Why don't you get an air filter and put in
because
whatever
you
room
don't
schedule
understand. You don't understand my electrical problem here. Okay. If I plug in one of those things along with an air conditioner going, I'm going to blow every fuse in
I
this
don't
building.
think an air filter really takes
They
up
don't
much.
use a lot of
Oh, yes, it does.
electricity.
Yeah, it does. They take up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Get one that doesn't.
You can't get one that doesn't. One that doesn't work.
Well, they just do smaller
And
areas.
and how do I know an air filter is what I need? I may spend $500 for an air filter, and then it
You
doesn't
just-
even work.
Buy it at Costco. You could always
Yeah.
return it.
Costco, I think, has one that costs like $150, and I've heard really good
Just
reviews
return it.
on it.
Really?
Costco takes anything back.
Yeah. Well, you know.
It's like one of their own brands, some Blue Air or something.
Kimberly Guilfoyle's got COVID-19.
Who?
Kimberly Guilfoyle.
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 Does that mean she gave it to Don Jr.?
I don't know.
Hope so.
And Don Jr. gave it to possibly Donald.
How long do you think it's going to be before Donald Trump gets COVID?
He'll never get
Monday.
COVID. Too many tests going on. Everybody comes in contact with him is tested.
Yeah,
He's
come up with a
constantly
chemical.
tested.
Yeah, but have you actually
won't
seen
get
the accuracy rate within the first like 3 days when when you actually have it?
Yeah, blame Brian.
Well, Brian, what is the accuracy of that? I mean, let's say he has people around him and they get tested every 2 or 3 days. In those 2 or 3 days, could they come down with it anyway, even though they tested negative before?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think they would.
Okay, so testing all the people around him doesn't necessarily
Testing
do
is
it.
no protection.
I mean, there's the accuracy of the test too, and that's where a lot of people are having problems. Because a lot of these fast tests are like 40 to 50% accurate. So
That's right.
they say that they give them a false positive or a false negative, saying you're fine, go home, and then they do have it, and they test the next day or so, and then they get.
That's right. My 90-year-old mother had a false positive. They sent her to the hospital because of it.
Wow.
And then there's a lot of people too. You might be infected your first day or two, and that you're not going to test positive. It's not there yet in your system.
By the way, 1,021 now of people who have gone back and subscribed. You may, folks, if you're listening, you may want to go and try and see if you're still subscribed, because somehow I lost a whole ton of people. But go over to Alex Bennett, go to YouTube, and then type in Alex Bennett, go to my channel, and subscribe to me right now. Let's see. You know, so far we've gotten 5 people. Thanks.
41 people watching.
What? Yeah.
41 people watching.
No, well, I don't know. I have no idea what that is about, by the way. Anyway, where were we? Oh, so, but
South Dakota.
you know, I mean, I'm glad to see the Native Americans are protesting. They're blocking the roads there. That's great, you know? I think that they're doing they're worried about it. See, they're worried. What they're worried about with the Mount Rushmore thing is that they've been very good at keeping COVID away.
Yep.
In the tribe.
What they're worried about is this game has already been played on them before.
Exactly, where we sold them blankets with smallpox on them. But you know, I mean, they have a very definite horse in the game, or whatever the term is, because they're worried about getting it. They're worried about their tribe being stuck with it because of this whole. Well, anyway, that's why they're protesting, and it's a very.
I would feel
real
that way.
protest.
I live in a community. We have very little here, and if somebody decided to hold a rally here like that, I would be pissed.
Well, I'm worried because our number went up, not significantly, something like 60 people tested positive more, which is the most we've had in 3 weeks. Okay. Usually it's been around 850, 860, around in there. Today it was 910. All right. And quite frankly, Cuomo's worried because he says this could be the beginning of something and we don't want to take that chance. And he's telling everybody, do your part, you know, but we're also worried about people coming in from out of state and doing this. We could get reinfected again. And when you get infected in this city, you know, it spreads like wildfire. So we worked really hard to get it
New York
down.
City gets it again.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You know, well, it's not going to be Cuomo's fault. It's not going to be my fault. It's going to be the fault of some people who really have no skin in the game. These kids, you know, go down and hang out on street corners drinking and thinking they're immune to the whole thing, but they're not taking into consideration anybody else but themselves because they're selfish.
And that's one thing that's bad about the administration, because they could be throwing out stats and, you know, getting some of these people more scared than they are right now, you know, especially if you're getting younger ages.
Well, let me talk to Charlie for a second. Charlie, you must be at one point a little relieved and at another point just absolutely incensed by the fact that your governor, who a couple of weeks ago said, there's no problem, you don't have to wear a mask, is now making it mandatory for people in Texas to wear a mask.
Yep. Too late though.
Huh? Yeah? Where do you live? Do you live in Austin? Is that where you
I live
are?
in Austin,
You
yeah.
live in Austin. That's a hot spot.
Yeah.
That's a hot spot.
Because Abbott wouldn't let Austin impose its own standards on the city. He passed a law in the state legislature that took away the power of Austin to regulate its own city.
Really?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Jason, you don't even have to put your hand up. You can just talk whenever you want to. This is Zoom.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt, but like I wanted to get a mask and have printed on it, this is what patriotism looks like. You know, because so many people on the right wing, they say that they're the patriots and they don't want to wear the masks. You know, this is what patriotism
It's bravado.
looks like.
Well, what amazed
That patriotism is bravado.
What amazed me was this woman I saw on TV, I mentioned this last night, who went, well, it's my constitutional right not to wear a mask. And I'm going, which amendment is that now to the Constitution? The right to wear masks or not wear masks? Am I right? Isn't the Bill of Rights the precursor to the Constitution?
No, it came after the Constitution.
Did it? No, the Bill of Rights was forged as a document against the.
That's why there are amendments.
There's the
Original
Constitution of
Constitution had no
Independence.
Yeah, the Bill of Rights is the first 10 amendments.
Well,
Yeah.
well, there's somewhere in the very beginning it goes
Called the preamble.
the preamble.
The government
We
is
make
to
these
promote
rights to be
public
self-evident
welfare.
of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Life
That's the
is the
Declaration of Independence.
life is the first one in there, and that we have that right. That's our basic right to life, liberty, and the pursuit, because he made his.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, pursuit of happiness. It is that's the most important thing of all. You know, then comes your freedom to assemble, freedom of speech, and freedom to arm bears, and things like that.
Bear arms.
Bear arms, okay, bear arms.
That's what they really meant, bear arms.
Yeah, yeah. To bear arms.
Roll up your sleeves and have
bare
bear
your
arms.
arms. Yeah. But I mean, I just don't see why doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense to me that we don't remember that life is the first guarantee that we have in there.
You know, and that's the thing too, is, you know, you're supposed to have any and every freedom until it affects somebody else.
Somebody else, yeah.
So when you know, there's a pandemic going on, you're supposed to stop yourself from infecting somebody else.
You're supposed to wear a mask as a how can we call it, respect to another human being. It's just respect. If you don't wear a mask, you're disrespecting people. That's it.
They had a good sign at this clothing store. You know, the one that you turn in old clothes and you get money back.
Mm-hmm.
And it says you cannot wear a mask. You have to wear a mask when you're in here. There's no debating that. And it says you can talk about how inefficient a mask is when you come back and you're trying to sell your grandmother's clothes, your dead grandmother's clothes.
Yeah.
Well, it's saying that, you know, you may not think a mask is good, but if you carry something back to your grandmother and she dies, you're going to be back here trying to sell her clothes to us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that you know, it's just a matter of people caring about people. And I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again. I mean, when was the Dow Jones more important than human life?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, when are we going to start having some values in this country? Except the values
the thing that kills me.
Huh?
The economy is man-made. Man can change the rules. Why not just sit there and say, no, you know, what am I looking for? You know, when you owe money on something and it appreciates or whatever, interest. No interest on loans. Loans just stop. No interest accumulate until this date.
What did I see that they forewent, and I don't know what it was. There was no paying of some certain taxes till next year, because
payroll.
No, not
payroll
that. Something
payroll
else.
taxes.
No, it wasn't a payroll. No, it wasn't a payroll tax. It was something else.
Employee payroll, so that they get a full check without any deduction for federal tax.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, we're in a really,
that could be dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless they cancel the tax altogether, because otherwise you're going to have a huge tax bill in January.
I don't know that it's going to be retroactively charged. I thought it was a forgiveness.
If it's forgiven, that's different.
Right. I think it is. It hasn't been signed into law yet. It's just something that Trump wants, and I don't know that it's going to go through.
So CEOs can hurry up and change their payroll to being paid by a payroll instead of being reimbursed by dividends and stocks and bonds.
Yeah. I think they get dividends.
No, but what did I see? What did I see that you didn't have to do this year? That they were forgiving this year, and it may have
the PPP. I'm working on that right now.
No.
What is that?
No,
a payroll protection plan. It's forgiven if you spent the money on rent, utilities, in certain percentages, and payroll. And they just extended it to 12 weeks and 24 weeks instead of 8 weeks. So that whole 52 grand I got is going to be forgiven. I'm at 40 grand right now at 8 weeks. So
I know what it was. I got a thing today from Prudential because I have a 401k at Sirius XM, and every year because I don't what? Because
you have to take the 5% or something.
I had to take 5% or something, right? And so they sent me a check for like $1,000 or something every year, and they said this year we don't have to take it. This year we can keep the money in there because that's been forgiven this year. That's what I remember as being forgiven. So, little money to stay there rather than be pulled out. But
Alex Bennett's money talk. Now we can talk about microphones.
No.
They're showing they said the rents of San Francisco have gone down. I think the average was like $3,600 a month, and now it's down to $3,300.
My friend, I have a friend that
poverty levels now.
I've had a friend that I've known 30, 35 years, owns a lot of real estate in San Francisco. And he says he's got so many empty apartments that, he's been living in Palm Desert. He came back here. He's living in one of his empties, just trying to get all the apartments rented out. He's got people that weren't paying the rent. He's crying the blues, but
isn't this whole thing about
maybe he should have planned better?
Isn't this whole thing about not being able to
COVID?
That's what I hear from the right wing all the time. Maybe you should have planned better.
Not being able to. Now I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry, because you forgot. Most of my left-wing friends haven't actually suffered through this at all because they actually have planned good. So it seems like the right-wingers are actually getting called out right now because they fucking don't plan very well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to find that that this month is going to be a problem for them, because I believe July 1st, the ability to not evict somebody is over with. That was like a 3-month deal.
3 month, yep.
And they're going to start evicting people. That's going to be really pretty, But I mean, they're kind of stupid.
That's going to be a really ugly thing. It's going to be so tough to evict people during this time.
Well, the thing is,
not going to look good.
What do? You evict people because they can't afford to pay you. So then you have an empty apartment you're not making money on anyway because nobody can afford to take it on. So you're there with an empty piece of real estate. It's better that it's better just to let people stay there, and then after it's all over, say, okay, your rent's starting up again. You don't even owe us the past rent.
You know who's really getting hurt in all of this? The commercial real estate. Because businesses are closing. Howard's in the real estate business, and are you suffering commercial losses as well as
commercial real estate's down, vacation rental is down. The only thing surprisingly is residential is still moving. There are people who still want to move here. I mean, I saw a house come on the market and it was already under contract in 3 days.
It's just the mortgage rates are attractive, so they dropped again now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be nice when they pay us to take it.
Yeah, that's where it's going.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a 3% interest rate, when was that?
Yeah.
When in your lifetime did you get 3%?
I got 2.625.
Well, Howard,
on a 15 or a 30?
15.
Hey, Howard,
nice.
if the residence in Maui isn't your prime residence, can you still get a 3% loan?
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's not where you live.
Second home.
Second home, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, what I'm saying is that it's going to get very ugly in this next month as we see people get their eviction notices.
But see, like I said, you could change the economy. It's all man-made. Why couldn't they just sit there and say no rent's due?
Well, something.
Mortgages are
when are we going to admit that the kind of capitalism we've been engaging in has suddenly turned around to bite us in the ass? That in a situation like this, we don't have the ability to weather the storm because we're so wedded to capitalism that, as I said earlier, when is human life have less value than the Dow Jones average? And I think it's time that we started changing the way we do business in this country. Yeah, you want to have private business, go ahead. Entrepreneurship, all of that. But the fact of the matter is that when something like this happens, we have to say, okay, all bets are off. People can't afford to rent, so nobody can evict anybody for the next year, because this thing isn't going to be over for a year.
But that's you have to think about it in a total. You can't just look at it myopically like that, because those people have bills to pay. Someone's paying the bills somewhere. Right?
Yeah, but
you could say, all right, nobody pays rent, but he's still that. So nobody pays rent and nobody has any bills to pay because somebody's paying something.
I'll feel sorry for somebody. I'll feel sorry for one of these landlords when they can prove to me that they're truly losing money.
So I have friends who are landlords and they're not rich.
Okay.
These are people that have properties. They rent them out for it's for the future, right? They're growing. They bought the properties. They rent them. They're paying the mortgages on those properties with those rents. So if you tell people to forgive it, you just can't forgive it.
Well, I understand that.
Forgive their mortgage payments too.
So it's coming from somewhere. I mean, the government wants to pay up everybody's houses.
Jason's
and
got
property taxes.
Jason's got his hand up.
But see, that's where I was saying the economy is man-made. So I was a landlord just like a year or two ago before I sold my rental property. And if this happened back then, and it was, we were freezing the economy, so therefore I owed a mortgage payment on the house, and that was being paid by my renter. You know, now my renter doesn't have to pay, and I don't have to pay the mortgage, and there's no accumulating interest on that. It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't affect anybody. You know,
somebody's paying it. It has to be.
But no.
Short term.
You can
Well,
pause
by virtue of being married to Marjorie, I am a renter myself. You know, we rent a property out, and I think during this situation, she has either pulled back on the amount of money they owe her, or whatever. But she felt that she had to do that. But I'm talking about the big people, like the guys who own this building. They own 30, 40 other properties in New York, maybe more. They've got money. They're not going to lose money. They've got the property. This building itself is worth how many millions of dollars? Okay? So
it's not worth that money, though, if people can't. The reason it's worth that money is because of the rents you can charge.
As
if
I'm
it wasn't
saying,
worth that, what happens to the value of it?
Let me put
when
it
you
this
have
way.
that many properties, you have things called REITs. People invest in those so that they can get a return and be able to live in retirement. So if their properties, they may have 40, 50 properties, they got investors. Those people are depending on
these guys who own this apartment house don't have a single investor. They don't have a single investor, Phil.
How can you know?
They run out of an office in Brooklyn, and they're a company that is just a sole company that over the years has bought up cheap properties, and as time has gone on, they become worth more and more. They haven't done anything to improve them. They've been slumlords basically for all these years, and they bought this property. They bought this building for $135,000. Okay.
Wow.
Plus, having to pay the back taxes of $150,000. For under $300,000, they bought this entire building, which is now worth, I would say, in excess of several $100 million.
The funny thing is, too, during this whole entire pandemic, they were never considered essential workers.
What are you saying, Phil? I mean, Rob?
I was going to say, though, that's the idea of having an investment. If you just forgive everything, then what is it worth? What do you do to the economy? What is it actually worth?
Well,
and then you're going to do that, here's the other thing. If you're going to do that, and again, that's where I draw the line with I'm liberal more on the social side and less on the financial side, because that's what we're built on. Why would anybody invest their money in anything if it wasn't to make money?
Well, you put a pause on it, just like in 1999. They had to have all these computer code writers write their code for the Y2K. You have to rewrite the code and put a pause on it. And then everything just restarts when the economy can reopen.
The economy under Nixon Ford had a moratorium, and what happened was it spurred inflation that you had no idea. It was like we were in Venezuela. Interest in the banks they were giving us 18-19% just to have a savings account. So by doing those artificial holds, it is proven in past performance that it will create a
the
much
Republicans did that.
Rewrite the code. Rewrite the code. It's just a computer program. Rewrite the code.
What? What'd you say, Charlie?
Like that?
What, Charlie?
So isn't that why we have the Fed now, so they can step in and do things to avoid inflation like that?
But the Fed isn't really part of the government, is it?
Well, you see,
it was called price controls.
You know,
that
I think there should be a lot of like the landlord should be forgiven certain things that they're going to owe the government in this particular situation. But I just don't think anybody should be evicted right now. And I think that once this is over and we go back to making people pay rent, that they are not retroactively going to have to go back and pay for the rent they didn't pay during this period of time.
You know, one of the other problems with
Because
that
then
is
they'll get evicted.
People get accustomed to not paying rent, and then when it's time to pay again, they don't want to pay.
Well, that's always supply and demand, though, right? It's supply and demand. You can pay $1,000 a month because of all the things that are going on, but when people are willing to pay $2,000 a month for that apartment again, then I mean that's supply and demand.
Well, you know,
that's what happened in San Francisco. It happened in New York. Every area that gets gentrified, right?
You know, the people who have problems paying rent right now are having problems through no fault of their own. You
That's
know,
right.
they did not cause this situation
No,
to
they
happen.
didn't.
And they need the relief that the government could give them by passing laws and saying, you know, you don't owe anything until this is passed. You know, the one thing that Trump has said that is true, but it's naive, but it's true, is that someday this will all be behind us. Of course, it'll be behind us in one way or another. Everybody will be dead or something like that, but it will be behind us. We will come up with a vaccine, for instance, and then it will, at least this pandemic will be behind us. But until then, we've got to do something about it, and we've got to take care of each other. I mean, every year you pay taxes. Every year Americans pay taxes. What are they paying for? They're paying.
Hey, Alex.
They're paying. They're paying for this, and they should, in times like this, be taken care of.
Yep.
Hey, Alex, I read a great headline. It says, protesters criticized for looting businesses without forming a private equity firm first.
Yeah. But I mean, all I'm saying is, you know, a lot of these Americans who are now facing eviction, or will face eviction as of July 1st, are people who paid their taxes every time a paycheck came in, and paid their taxes at the end of the year, and you know, all of that, and through no fault of their own, now they find themselves in these circumstances. Because they were a contributing factor to the government and to the taxes and so on, this should be the thing we do back for them, okay, to say your tax money was worth it. Yes, Jeff?
A lot of people have forgotten about 9/11, where particularly in the New York area, a lot of businesses were absolutely stopped.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted to buy anything. They didn't want to try anything. They were terrified.
Yeah.
That the whole place was going to blow up. And one of I had this company, small company, but the people who we rented the facility, and the lady who ran it calls me up and she goes, I understand you're out of business right now. And I says, well, effectively, you're right. And she says, well, I'm not going to charge you the rent for like 3 months or so until we see what happens.
Yeah.
And that was terrific. That was absolutely kept everybody there.
Did she ask for back rent when everything came back, or were you just excused? You were excused those 3 months.
Nicest thing, I had a landlord when I was living down on Houston Street. I can't remember what it was, but I think it was during a time when the economy went south. Okay, and they forgave us rent for I think 3 months, something like that, saying we know you can't pay it. Oh no, I know what it was. It was time for my rent to come due for renewal. And they said, we're renewing you for another 2 years at the same rate because we see the economy has not been good and you shouldn't have to pay more. that was very nice. I never saw a landlord do that voluntarily, especially in New York, the home of slumlords.
When Proposition 13 came on, what was that, in 77, 8, which was a California proposition to freeze the property tax.
Real property taxes.
I had a friend, he passed away, but he owned a building on Union Street, and he had 4 units in there. He actually got in Herb Cain's column because he was the only landlord that reduced everyone's rent by the savings that he got on the property taxes. And Herb Cain put him in his column, you know. Yeah. And Herb Cain was a columnist in San Francisco.
Examiner.
No, well, he used to be the Chronicle, and then he went to he wound up at the Examiner. Yeah.
Wasn't he daily? So if he was daily, he was Chronicle. If it was the afternoon paper, was the Examiner, and the Sunday.
I don't know. He started one place and went to another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, he could make or break you. This guy, you know, had he ever written about you, or was he dead by the time you were here?
No, he wrote about me.
Yeah.
Dot, dot, dot.
Dot, dot, dot.
The triple dot.
Yeah. Well, what he said is that I was dating Deborah Winger. So I come back to San Francisco after being on vacation. They go, "What's with you and Deborah Winger?" It turned out we were at the airport together, and we were both protesting what was bad service. And somebody saw us together, and they assumed we were dating. Okay. So he had it wrong.
She could have done better.
Huh? Oh, yeah. You know. But anyway, so you know, I mean, I just think that we have to look at this thing and say, look, the way we're going to solve this problem is by grabbing it by the horns. You know, keeping businesses open is not going to save us. Keeping them open is going to mean you're going to have to close them down again, and the whole economy is going to tank once more. You know, I mean, Cuomo pointed out, very rightly so, that every time the COVID incidents go up, the stock market comes down. When this COVID goes down, the stock market goes up. What does that say to you? By taking the bull by the horns and solving the problem now, you're also down the line going to save the economy. And that we're not doing that. And Trump, who is the worst businessman in the world, I mean, The Art of the Deal, he didn't even write it, okay? Yeah. The Art of the Deal, I mean, what is this his idea of the art of a deal? I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible what's going on. You know, and but he won't be president much longer. But let me ask you this, everybody: how do you feel that Biden is doing right now in his handling of his? And I'm not asking you, Phil, because we know what you're going to say. Biden, well, how do you feel he's handling his candidacy so far? Anybody?
He just needs to keep his mouth shut.
He's doing a great job.
Huh? Yeah. I think he's doing a fine job, and I think you're right. He's got to keep his mouth shut.
Under the circumstances, what are you going to do, you know? Just go out and start spreading the fucking virus? No, that's stupid. But
and he's been putting his little input in the right spots, the right times, I think, too, when Trump's been really quiet about stuff.
And you know who's going to help lose the election for Trump? The Lincoln Project.
Yeah.
The Lincoln Project has really gained momentum. Everybody every day waits for the next ad from the Lincoln Project.
Yeah, Trump's laying the groundwork, though, for to remain in power even if he loses. Because what he's going to do, let's say he loses and it's really close, he's going to declare an emergency, and you know he has presidential emergency powers. That's going to send the thing to the the Justice Department. Barr's going to investigate it for like 2 months. Then December 15th, that's when the delegates have to be appointed. Mm-hmm. And
John, that's a waste of breath.
No, and then the Supreme Court will. The Supreme Court will throw it to the House, and the House will make the decision. They'll vote. and so you think, oh, well then Biden will win because the House is more Democrats. But that's not how it works. Each state gets its own vote determined to if they have the majority of representatives. So that means there's 26 Republican states and 24 Democrat states, and Trump would win.
Well, I mean, you know what I just noticed is I pushed a button wrong, and we've had our Gabnet logo up for a while. Let me put the Zoom panel back on. Oh man, I didn't see that happen. Something went wrong here.
Biden is the new model for the movie My Weekend with Bernie.
Not funny. Trump tweeted on June 22nd, rigged 2020 election. Millions of mail-in ballots will be printed by foreign countries and others. It will be the scandal of our times. That's laying the groundwork.
Did you see
Wait
what
a
happened
minute.
in
Can
New
you
Jersey?
notice that somebody has had his hand up for a while?
No.
Well, look, Phil. Yes, go ahead.
I
So-
couldn't see it.
It's been, I think, since in my lifetime, I think it's been since George W. Bush. It's always been, this president is going to stay for a third term, and they're going to, I don't know that I really worry about Trump actually staying in the White House just because it's just been such a big thing. This president, Bush was going to do it first, then Obama was going to do it, now Trump's going to do it. It's like we keep on putting up the same fear argument every single election. So
Mark my words.
Mark your words.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm predicting
Well,
it.
I think he's going to make it difficult for them to get him out of there, but I think they're going to get him out of there.
I hope so.
So, I mean,
I think John's got this all on one wall in his basement with all the yarn and the string going to each different person.
Look at that.
Taking notes.
See, there he is. I told you, yeah.
by the way, I want to apologize to the audience for the Gabnet logo coming up there for a while, but I pushed some button here, and then it got stuck, and then I pushed another button, and the next thing we had the Gabnet going. So
just fix it in post.
That could be,
I don't have to fix it
better
in post.
than having us.
The audio still went out. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just we didn't have the picture, which doesn't really matter. But what happened was my little switcher here screwed up. It suddenly, and then I pushed a button to get it to go. Oh, I won't even explain it.
Oh.
It's all good.
It's all
Only
good.
only for a couple minutes. Only for a minute.
Well,
That's how long.
But I wish I could sit here and say that things are going to be better. But they're not. They're not going to be till we get this idiot out of office. I'm sorry.
I don't even know that that's going to fix it, though. In the end, I think the country is so polarized.
It's going to.
Whether Trump's gone or not, I don't think. We're just not. We're on a bad trajectory.
Well, I'll tell you, the next thing that's got to
gonna win.
stop. The next thing that's got to stop. The next thing. Well, Phil, you'll eat your words on that one, because he's doing a very bad job of winning. He's doing everything. Before he did everything he could do to lose, and he won. He's doing everything he can do to lose now, and he's going to lose.
I don't think so.
Huh?
No,
Well,
don't
I know
think-
you don't think so, Phil, but you're going to be wrong, because he is just alienated too many people. You got to remember that a lot of people. The most common statement that I hear from people who voted for Trump was, "Well, I figured we've done it other ways. Let's give it a chance. Go with somebody who's not an insider." And now they go, "No way, I'm voting for Trump this time."
I know a lot of Trump people who voted for Trump who will not vote for him this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
It
lost.
won't matter in certain states. Your state, Virginia.
Phil, he's losing Ohio right now by something like a 10-point
I don't know anybody
margin.
who did not vote for him who is willing to vote for him now.
I voted for him, and I'm willing to vote for him again.
Okay,
but
but-
what you said is you didn't know anybody who didn't vote for him who would change up now. And I think that's true, Jason. But I don't think that the young people that they need to come out on the Democratic side are going to come out.
And unfortunately, I think you're right there. But I think there's enough Americans who are not willing to vote for him and take that chance.
Listen, I gotta say goodnight to everybody. Howard, it's so nice of you to do your show from the beach tonight.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, and he's in Hawaii, by the way. Phil, thank you very much. Cigar smoking Rob. I can smell
Scotch
that.
drinking.
I can smell that stogie all the way over here. Brian, another great week with you, Brian. Thank you, Charlie. Hope stay safe. Jeff, good to see you, and John Larkin, good to see you around. And by the way, Jason, it was lovely to see your lovely wife. So, you know, that's good too, because she brought some.
I'm just a chopped liver.
You're just chopped liver. That's all. Anyway, everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I will wave back at you. And yeah, there we go. Okay, I don't know what happened earlier, but you know, I'm sorry if you didn't. If all you heard was the audio and you saw the Gabnet logo. Hey, listen, once again, a reminder, if you get a chance, go over to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/ and then you put in Alex Bennett. It'll take you to the channel, and just subscribe to me, okay? I want you to subscribe to me because somehow they dumped about 60,000 of my subscribers, and I need to get them back, okay? All right. Anyway, we got The Intersection next with Jack Bishop. I'll be back here again on Tuesday night. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, and stay safe and wear a mask, okay? You don't have to be the Lone Ranger to do it.